He's shooting the Matthews TRX, which is actually, you know, it's a very heavy bow to begin with, and then when you add the stabilization and the weights and everything on there, makes it even heavier. So some people call it a boat anchor.
Yeah.
Some definitely to keep you grounded.
Then.
Very strong, good direction shot there.
France is surely not going away. They're keeping up.
They're putting
up
a
a
fight,
lot of
which
pressure.
is what you have to do. You know, you can never give up in these situations. It's not over until the last arrow is shot. So
The booth, on the stands, around everywhere.
everywhere he'll just kind of pop up, and there he is, and then he'll be gone. Definitely keeps moving, which is why he gets some of the good shots that he does.
Yes. Vijay is putting them left, but with a small margin this time. Maybe some more adjustment on the side will just do it for him.
So USA has a lead here going into these 3 arrows. Rio keeps that lead.
Rio has been really solid today. I mean, I don't think he's missed a 10 yet.
No.
Steve having a very good year in terms of archery. He's podiumed in a couple of events back in the USA.
Yep, he took a couple indoor podiums. He won, the Reading trail shoot.
Quick shot from Braden there.
Still had quite a bit of time. You know, you can slow down your shot a little bit. You know, if he shot with about 7 seconds left. And if he had taken just a couple more seconds maybe to settle down his shot a little bit, it wouldn't have necessarily cost anything for them. But sometimes that's, again, your mind saying, you know, I'm getting short on time, I got to get this shot off, and it was just out a little bit.
So I fell out against Braden this week, shot to a 1 arrow, and then he put it right in the X. But, you know, and when we shot, he shot that X so quickly, and he made everybody hear that he's got the X. So it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. I shot at 10, but I definitely did not shoot an X like he did. He's a quick shooter. I would usually, when I load my 3rd arrow, he's off the line already.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Mike as well. Mikey also is a real quick shooter. He's off the line in no time.
Yep, just gets it done, gets it over with, and then goes back to relax a little bit before the next one. So some people can do that and shoot very well. Others need to take their time, you know, need to relax their muscles a little bit, kind of take a breather, get their mind in the right spot, and sometimes just that routine is a little bit longer, but whatever works for you is what you need to do. You know, you see such a wide variety of forms, of mental strategies. You know, it's definitely not a textbook thing.
It's a very individual sport.
It's a very individual sport. Whatever works for you may not work for the next guy, but you know, there are a lot of things that are, you know, textbook as far as where to start at, and then go from there, figure out what works for you, and that's part of that is having a good coach who can recognize, okay, that doesn't work for you, let's try something else.
France need to put down a good India to put pressure on the USA, because the gap is growing, and the USA just seem to be, you know, sort of growing in their confidence.
Yep, they obviously don't want to give up that lead.
Let's see if he adjusted his sights enough, because previous arrows to the left. Left again.
Left there.
Maybe it's not just the sight adjustment, maybe it's a hand position, or you know, the way he releases or something, but he's definitely gripping them to the left.
Or if he just happens to be the one that gets that gust of wind too.
Yeah. But Rio doesn't seem to be bothered too much.
Not
he
really
was putting them down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And another one in the same hole.
Another X.
Really shooting solid, yeah.
Keep going, Steve.
Here Rio saying, come on boys, I did my job, let's get this done.
Just high by Steve. Maybe Steve has got more wind resistance right up there. Eh?
Yeah, you know, the wind may be different. Those couple extra inches taller that he is.
He's dropping them arrows in from height.
Yeah, exactly.
Braden puts it in the X. 3-point lead at the moment. France really need to put a good end together here.
It looked like a very strong shot. You know, good direction as his other ones have been, but it's just just slightly
that
out.
1-8, but the rest were really small
Right.
misses.
Yeah.
See what Fabian can do here. Look at his finger.
His finger
Swing,
swing,
yeah.
you can
You can see that was affecting him
and you
for
can
sure.
even hear a little bit. You know, some of the mics are picking up some of that wind. That's definitely changing, and that wind sock down there with all the colors on it, standing out straight. So that gives you an idea that the wind is definitely picking up. Which, you know, that was a good 10.
Yeah.
That could have been a very good play on the wind. And if the wind keeps up while the USA is shooting, you may have the same results too. You never know.
But there's a good opportunity for the USA here to really open the gap.
There is, yes.
You can see Rio is fighting that wind, holding for a long time, but puts it right in there. He's shooting solid today.
Let's go, Steve. Put it in there.
Just some words of encouragement from teammates and coaches back there. Just off for Steve. Kind of in that, like we were saying, in that high direction that all the rest of his arrows have been in.
Yep.
Oh, that's a commanding lead still. That's a 4-point lead. And the time is now running out. Good shooting by the USA. We had some really small misses by France.
Yep.
Really small misses. I think
And next end, those misses could just catch, you know.
maybe they
So
catch, yes.
they're right in that area. But a 6-point lead nonetheless for the U.S. 166 to 172.
Allez les gars, à fond jusqu'au bout. On sait que tout est possible contre les Américains.
Dixie, just when you're in a situation like this, what do you do between ends? If you stand around, what's your routine?
A lot of times, you know, just kind of sitting back there and having conversations with your teammates, you know, kind of keeps your mind relaxed instead of sitting there and intently thinking on the score and how things are going. You know, that almost gets you too stressed out and too uptight about the situation. You know, sometimes you just need to lay back, you know, make sure you're taking a couple deep breaths, enjoying the moment. That's a lot of it, what it is for me, because, you know, you may be in a medal match now and
you don't know when.
you don't know when you'll be in a match again. So enjoying the moment, enjoying just being in the moment, feeling what is going on, the emotions, because the adrenaline is definitely something that you can use to your advantage as well. Even if your heart's pumping real fast, and it's not something that's in the normal for you, you can definitely channel that energy towards something that'll be a good, strong, positive outcome. So what I like to do is just kind of sit back, make sure that I'm just as encouraging to my teammates as they are to me. Maybe talk about something not archery related to kind of keep your mind calm and just do what you know how to do.
That's a good end by France. I mean,
Definitely
that's the
what
way.
they needed at this point.
Exactly what you needed to do. Put some pressure back on, maybe claw something back. You never know in slightly windy conditions what the opposition might do, and it's never over until the last arrow.
Exactly. You know, this is the last end, but there's still 9 arrows to be shot. A lot of room for points. Oh, that's the first one. I think that Rio's lost there, but doesn't take away from his good
by lost,
shooting.
you still mean a 9. I mean, it's still a really good shot, but
Yes.
he was putting the standard so high that.
Exactly.
Yes. There's 2 points clawed back.
So now only a 4-point lead. Braden
might have fought the line.
just looks to be out. I mean, you can kind of tell, is there a little bit of yellow in between there, or is it just touching the line?
There's an opportunity for France. Maybe they clawed 3 back, yeah.
Yep. Closing the gap just a little bit. See if they can keep that direction going. A 9. But with the U.S. shooting 3 9s, you know, it can definitely change.
But now France have to put some 10s in there to put the pressure on.
Exactly.
Ouais, Fab,
On the line, good
Strong
shot.
shot, good 10. You know, only a small amount closer than his teammate's arrow, but just enough to get that point.
Yes.
And a strong
hitting his
shot
straps
there.
now. Good X. That's all you can do.
Definitely a good way to finish. That just like you said, that's all you can do. You know, a 59 is definitely a good score.
Yeah.
Strong 10.
Very good shot.
Right side of our cap.
Good finish for Rio.
You can see Rio is in a comfortable spot. He's aiming well, shot timing is good.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
this will kind of give him a little bit of an
Confidence.
advantage, even going into the matches that he has later this afternoon, being on the finals venue already, knowing what it feels like being up there.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice.
Great shot placement by Steve. You can tell he was a little bit happier with that than some of the last ones that he
16
shot.
seconds, Braden,
So
lots of time.
7
Good
to
strong
win it.
shot, buddy.
And maybe even a 6 can win it because that 9 can be upgraded.
correct.
Yeah.
And
That's
if he
not
just
needed
stacks
if
it right
you
in
shoot
there,
3 10s.
no doubts.
USA wins the bronze medal.
That's a group.
Very good shooting. They opened the gap. They kept that gap open. You can see the guys are very pleased with themselves.
Absolutely.
Still,
They
very
worked very well together as a team, you know, encouraging each other and getting to that point. These 3 have had a lot of experience shooting with each other, you know, so they know how the dynamic is kind of going to go. They have their placement down, you know, so usually Rio always leads and Braden always is the anchor, and that's just what works for them. So,
yeah, that dynamic in a team, you know, setting that up. If I think of the Danish team with Stefan Hansen and Patrick Larsen and Martin Damsbo, they're such a good team because they work together so well. They understand each other. They've got the shooting order sorted out. They know how long every archer will take. They know what every archer will do, and that really makes them a strong unit to compete against.
it definitely does. When you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, what is, you know, how is this all going to work? You can focus more on your shot. There's
this Facebook moment for Steve. Good Kodak moment.
and in slow-mo, it makes it even that much more entertaining.
Dramatic, yeah.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. Well done, Steve.
He's
Save
like,
that one
"Finally
for you.
in the 10.
Yeah. Steve individually also doing well this week, ending in the top 8.
Yep, he shot very well, qualified high up there, which put him in a good place going into the eliminations. So
let's talk a little bit about how important it is to qualify well and to be one of the leading qualifiers,
Yeah.
like in the top 8. How important is that?
you know, being in the top 8 is definitely kind of like, you know, just one of the very prestigious positions to be in, because of the fact that when you place in the top 8, they kind of say, okay, well, you shot this fantastic to be in the top 8 of the archers, that you get the privilege of making it automatically to a certain round of matches. So you don't even usually have to shoot your first couple of matches to make it higher, which means ultimately your ending placement is going to be higher than, you know, somebody that had to shoot more matches than you.
There comes a team of India, also a formidable team to compete against. They're the guys that knocked out the USA earlier this week. Strong team to shoot against.
You know, a couple of these archers also placed very high. You can see the quiver number on the gentleman in the middle. Has a 4 on it.
Verma, yeah.
Yep,
He's a solid archer.
Abhishek placed 4th for qualifications. He had a very good 72 arrow score. start off the weekend with. And usually, you know, a lot of times qualification only tells you where in the brackets you're going to be, but being in that top 8 does give you a little bit more of a break. You know, you don't have to worry about making it through the first couple matches. You know, you can make it further right away, which sometimes will, you know, give you a little bit more practice time, a little bit more time to get used to kind of what's going on around you.
Yeah,
so.
and here we have Colombia. They got by Turkey. They beat Turkey by 2. They beat Korea by 1. They beat France by 2. So they also put in a solid performance. And
Yep,
in the case of India, they beat Vietnam by 1. Tough match. They beat Iran by 2, and they beat the USA by 2. Also, both of these guys, you know, these
All
teams
very-
had strong matches coming up.
Exactly. Yeah, they didn't have
free
any
rides.
room, to move, so they had to be on the top of their game, which is obviously why they're in the gold medal match here today. So
Also going to be an interesting match.
see, India starting it off.
Interesting, also a different stabilization setup than we saw on some of the other bows. Very individual, very good
Yeah,
team to start off.
absolutely. You know, you'll see some like the Russian women's team that we saw. Some of them do not have back bars, like bars coming off the rear side of their bow. You know, and that could just be what works for them. They don't need that extra on the back. You know, it may actually hinder them, whereas these guys obviously, you know, have played with what's going to work and found that single bar coming off the back is what they need. So
The Indian team is a team that thrives off performance. If they do well and they get pumped, it's really hard to beat them. You better put
keep
them
that
under
roll
pressure
going.
quickly.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if they get their tails in the air, they will shoot increasingly better scores as the match goes on.
And that's again the part of the confidence, you know, that just really works for them. It kind of fuels them to where, you know, they're like, we're doing really well, we're doing what we need to do, and just keep going with that instead of saying, oh, what do I need to change, what am I doing wrong, and then you're thinking more on the negative side of things. So rough arrow for Colombia. You know, the emotions kind of show on the face there that
big disappointment.
wasn't what they wanted. But
and so the challenge is now to overcome that disappointment, put it behind you, and focus on the next arrow.
that's all you can do, you know, in these situations. You're not going to get an arrow back. You know, you're not going to say, oops, I made a mistake on that one, let me retry. That's not how it works, unfortunately, even though
no
we may want it
mulligans.
to be.
No
right.
mulligans.
No mulligans. So, you know, definitely just moving past it, being able to say in your mind, okay, I'm going to forget about that. I'm a good shooter. I made it to this point. I can make a perfect shot, and just focus on doing that instead of dwelling on something you can't change. There's another 9, so
The door is still open.
each dropping 2 points already.
If you can keep India under pressure, it will help a lot.
Exactly.
Bishek, I think, shot in the medal matches at the last World Championships. Really good archer.
Very, very
One
strong.
of the best in the world. We are so used to seeing the Colombian ladies team shoot in medal matches.
Yeah, Colombia is definitely a strong country in archery. A lot of that having to do with, you know, some of the women's team. You do see a lot of them in the medal matches. Sarah Lopez will be competing this afternoon.
It's a good shot.
In the individual matches. So definitely a strong name in archery, holding a lot of the world records as well.
He's holding on to that one. Oh, he made a great shot.
What he needed to do.
57-58, so just 1 point in it. You can obviously see when the archers come up and they hold a little bit longer, the tremor starts to develop, and
Yep,
you know
can
the
kinda
pressure
see
comes onto
a little
you.
bit of shake there, but you know, if you can control that, if you know your shot well enough to say, you know, I can still put this in the middle. And in this situation, even if you start shaking and you start thinking about it, you don't have the time
To
needed
let down.
to let down, you know, regroup and come back to make another shot. You know, you have to, and that's really when it comes down to the precision side of the sport, is you have to do it in the time that you are given, and there's no room for movement.
The match play, shooting against time, where you, like in a team match or even individual, and there's little time left, does put a little bit of another spin on it. So
Yep.
you know, if you shoot individual during the elimination rounds coming up to this point, there's a lot of time to reset, rethink,
There
and
is,
shoot again.
yep, exactly. And you know, like we were discussing before, the different ways that you can have your teams shoot. You know, if an archer gets up, shoots 2 arrows, gets off the line, you know, the other archer gets up, shoots 2 arrows, gets off the line. It's different timing. You know, you have more room sometimes one way or the other to be able to utilize your time differently, and it just all depends on how you can practice for that and how you can work that time and be able to use it. But really what you need to do is you just need to get up there and make a strong shot, and that's where, you know, no second guesses kind of comes into it as well. You can't second guess yourself in that situation. Just get up there and say, I know how to make a strong shot, and that's what I'm going to do.
That's exactly what Munoz did. He put one right in the tent.
Yep. Just what he needed to do.
And that's also, you know, that boosts a lot of confidence. Once you put one in there, you know what to do. Your muscle starts relaxing, your whole body relaxes, and then you can do it. You can shoot a lot of tens, which is what this game is all about.
Coming in on Canelo here, and he's
Just
shaking
hold on.
a little bit, but
You could see he wasn't happy with that shot,
Yeah.
because that, you know, he had some movement before the shot. Yeah. India put it down there with 310, so
very relaxed looking shot, you know, just kind of doesn't look like he had to try hard, just fell right into place.
you do have archers that really make it look easy.
That's for sure, and those are kind of the ones that you like to watch too, you know,
Yes.
and say, you know, that it just
Flowing.
looks so fluid, so smooth, and then you can kind of, you know, have that in the back of your mind when you're shooting as well, to try and make your shot just as smooth and just as fluid.
Oh, that's
Good
just
shot,
out.
great group by India there. Just a tick out.
Still a 1-point match.
Vamos, Dani. Fluido, fluido.
Munoz has put, he's been shooting well. I think he's got only 10s thus far. Another X to add to that.
Just off.
So they also follow the shooting order that we saw earlier this morning. Shooting one archer shooting on the right target, the other archer shooting on the left target,
Camilo, mucho tiempo.
where you would see India put 3 in the same target and the other 3 in the other target.
Yeah, and sometimes what that is just, you know, to instead of having to worry about, oh, did I already shoot one in the right target, or having to switch back and forth, it just eliminates, at least for 2 of the archers, you know, having to switch. Just say, only worry about shooting in the left target, and then that's one less thing that they have to worry about.
Oh, what a good shot.
Very strong. Whole team's happy about that one.
You could see India's, you know, they're very pumped. Just high. Looked like a good shot. Still made a smooth release.
And, you know, you see, even given high fives, even though it wasn't, you know, wasn't the highest score he could have gotten, it's still, you know, you shot a good shot. Even though it didn't get there, you still need to be confident in your shooting and encourage one another, and that's where the team aspect comes into play. making sure your teammates are behind you no matter what you shoot.
2-point lead for India there. Halfway through. I think it's definitely not over. It's a very good match still going on, and it's good shooting by both parties. And you can definitely see that there are wind playing in factor. You can see some of the archers, the shot just takes a little bit longer.
Yep.
The aim is not settled in the middle completely. So yeah, it's an interesting tournament. I actually like watching that as well, you know, to see how everybody handles the different conditions. Archery, especially the World Cups, is an outdoor sport, and you must be able to handle the wind, to read the wind, to shoot in the wind. So that's an important aspect of the game.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of archers will have different ways of preparing for the wind. Do you have a certain strategy where you kind of, you know, will you go out on just a super windy day and shoot arrows, figure out where your equipment needs to go, or I guess how do you prepare for the wind?
Yeah, so in my case, you know, I like to shoot in windy conditions just to prepare myself for when the windy conditions actually happen. And in fact, you know, I'm a trigger shooter, so the wind most of the time play a little bit to my advantage. Where you get a super calm day, you get the guys with hinges sometimes putting up better scores. Yeah, I like to prepare in the wind. I don't like to do it too much because you can develop some really bad habits.
You can, yeah, and then it's like you don't know how to shoot a good shot when there's no wind. You only know how to shoot a good shot when there's a lot of wind,
yeah.
And then when it dies down. And when it gets to a certain point, you know, if it's blowing so hard you can't even get on the target, you know, then it's to the point of, okay, now we're just practicing guessing,
yeah,
you know, now we're just practicing our luck. So,
good 10
yeah,
there.
is it worth it to, like you said, get those bad habits, you know, ingrained, or is it worth it?
I guess it's a fine balance you have to find to, you know, how do you fight the wind? Do you flow with the wind? It's different for each archer. It's different for. You know, and it helps if you shoot a heavier, higher poundage bow. It does fight the wind a little bit better.
Yep, exactly.
You can see he's really struggling to get his shots off a little bit. I think he's not happy with the shot timing. Maybe his right hand on that hinge release is just not relaxed enough, so the shots are not going when he wants it to go.
Yeah, and I know he's been in medal matches before and such, but sometimes, you know, you can just get uptight or just get tense just enough to where it changes how your muscles are reacting to each other, and you may not have that smooth fluid movement like we were talking before, and maintaining the same amount of pressure in practice as you are in the matches.
Opening the door.
Very close. It looked like it was just out, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
but it's very, very close there.
We'll have to wait that one out. So Verma can put them back on track. Just out the left
Good
as well.
Good shot, yep, but
Good
in that same line there where they're all pushed just that much to the left.
1 point game. It's a 1 point game. Munoz has been shooting really solid. I think he had 1-9 and a close 9 for that.
Out the left side too.
Commentator's curse on him. Shame.
Yeah. You know, when you look at the trees and it's like that shot doesn't really look like there was much wind affecting it. So could that have been a form issue, or was it the wind, and you don't really know unless you're out there, you know what I mean?
And sometimes you shoot it and you don't even know.
Exactly.
But you can see there's movement in his bow. That got away from him. I think he was trying to make the shot slightly quicker, and maybe he wasn't settled completely.
See on the time that he only had 1 second left to go, and that is a very tight time to try and make a good shot off.
Exactly. Specifically, if you shoot a hinge release, to make it fire, there's a lot of movement that comes with that. If you shoot a trigger and you have very little time left, you can, you know, pull the trigger and you'll have less movement and a higher probability of hitting a reasonable shot.
And like we were saying before as well, you know, different archers prefer a different style of release because maybe they can control a hinge better than they can control a trigger. Maybe it'll produce better results when you need to do that. But the ultimate goal is to just shoot the smoothest, the strongest, the most repetitive, consistent shot that you can. You don't really want to be controlling your shot from one side to another.
It's raining reds now. We saw 3 reds
Yep,
now, so
that's
you know,
what
it's making it interesting at least.
You can kind of see that both teams are struggling just a little bit here, you know, and does the gold medal match have a little bit more pressure than the bronze medal match? You know, knowing that you've won every single match up to this point, possibly.
Yeah,
know?
because if you know, when I look outside now, it doesn't seem to be an excessive amount of wind going on. Maybe, you know, it's just the pressure, They're close to each other, putting pressure on each other. You can also see the Indian team, they're smiling, but they're not high-fiving, they're not up there because they're not sure that, you know, they're right on top of the other team. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They're usually a team that, you know, when they shoot a good shot, you know it.
Oh yeah, it's very, very supported by the rest of the team. You get very excited about it, and sometimes that can kind of pump you up, get you in the right mood as well.
But saying that, they lead by 3 points, which is probably a good space to be in at this stage.
Yep, going into the last end here.
Very good slow motion footage. It'd be nice to have that footage when you tune your bow to see if your arrows are flying straight.
Right, there are actually some systems that some archers can kind of take advantage of if your shop or your club, or if you have a slow motion camera where you can see, you know, just second by second and break it down as to what all of your equipment is doing, how your equipment is working together, and how you are working with your equipment as well. Definitely can be a tool that is useful. Nice strong shot there.
Back on track here with a good deep 10.
Strong shot as well, just out the bottom.
This is turning out to be an interesting match, you know, not necessarily the super high scoring event, but still a very good match.
Very close, yeah, and that's kind of one of the things about archery is it doesn't necessarily matter if you shoot better scores than the rest of the teams out there. All you have to worry about in the moment
is winning that match.
Is what you need to do to win the match that you're in, which sometimes can get frustrating, you know, when you look down the line, if you shoot a really good score and lose your match, you know, to see that that you still shot a very good score compared to other archers out there. It's like, you know, I'm shooting really good, I shouldn't have lost, but
yeah. But that really doesn't actually matter.
That's not how it goes. No, and that's just, you kind of have to accept it and move on. Be happy that you shot well, right?
Yes, that's true. It's all about winning that one match. It's exactly what's happening here.
Exactly.
We saw a very, very good X there, the first shot. You can see the wind is pumping slightly now from right to left, and very, very good.
Not enough to throw them off.
That was needed for them, you know. That boosts their confidence and just creates a little bit more of a gap. They're in a really commanding lead now.
Yep, 4 points going into the last 3 arrows.
Just out.
Making that 5 points.
So sometimes when you are in this position that Colombia is finding themselves, you just sort of relax and shoot the shots because there's nothing you can do about it. You can just hope.
And it's not like, you know, trying harder necessarily is going to make you shoot better shots. Sometimes that'll tense up your muscles, slow your shot down even more, and make, you know, the results that you don't want. You want to duplicate as much of what you do in practice onto the field, and by doing that, you know, just being as relaxed as you can and just thinking, hey, I have to get out there and shoot my shot. Can't do anything else but that.
Well, that's how you end. If you can put it on the top of the 10, that's what you can do. There's not a lot more that you can do about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At that point, you got to put everything else behind you and say, hey, you know, in these 3 arrows, there's a possibility that
something can go wrong.
Something else could happen other than just our score. You know, it could be the opponent's score that decides the match.
Yeah,
so.
Shridhar is definitely not planning on letting anything happen. He put one straight in the 10.
Like you said, they get on a roll there and they just keep keep that momentum going.
Yeah, the tails is up. Yeah, you can see it's still a 9.
Strong shot, just out. It looks
Yeah.
like.
That's really good enough. 6 to win it. And I would bet 1,000 times, 999 out of 1,000 times he would put it in, which he does.
And there he goes.
Yeah. Well done to India. Good win there.
Congratulations, gold medal to India, and still strong shooting, and a silver medal to Colombia. They'll still be able to step up on the podium there, which is always a good feeling.
Yes.
So
If you can reach the podium at a World Cup, you did a good job. Really,
absolutely.
you did. Yeah, good shooting. I think we enjoyed the match as well. Not as high a score as some of the ladies' matches and even the previous match, but still an entertaining match.
Absolutely. You know,
And I think, Lexi, you said it as well. It doesn't matter if you look down the field and you lost with the second highest score in the field. It just doesn't matter. It's all about that match. And there's a lot of there's a lot going on in a match. You can never say I shot the second highest score, I would have won that guy or would have won that person, because you know, in the match it's all about the pressure you put on the other guy and the pressure the other archer puts on you. And so how you respond to that, there's a lot.
How you respond, how you learn from it, and how you can apply it to the next competition is definitely something that will determine maybe your next outcome as well. So
yeah, I think we had an entertaining morning of looking at the compound matches, the compound team matches. This afternoon we'll be looking at the mixed team matches, and also then the individual matches coming up here on Compound Saturday
so stay
in Shanghai.
tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We'll be back with you later.
I think it's an awesome day shooting here. We saw some really good shooting and interesting shooting, not just the factor of the nerves, but also the factor of the wind keeping us interested. There were some beautiful shots of the financial district here in Shanghai, China. It's really a spectacular venue. I had the privilege to go up on the tower you see there at the back on the sky bridge and have the beautiful view of the venue from the top.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's awesome.
That can be pretty neat. You know, but it may even be hard out there standing on the field waiting to shoot, and you're like, man, all these buildings, super cool. And then you're like, wait, no, I need to be focusing on my shot right now. Don't look at the trees.
I'm sure you should at least spend a second or two just taking in the surrounds. I think, you know, you look at the field crew and you go to the practice venue and their stage is built and everything is built. There's a lot of work that goes into the production of a final venue like this in a public park where people move around, so there's safety to be kept into consideration and the safety of the spectators. So yeah, good job. I would really want to commend World Archery for doing this job and the Chinese Archery Federation.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. Great, you know, letting the spectators have a good view of the field as well. You know, seeing those stands, which could fill up a little later as well, too. So we'll have our victory ceremonies.
So this is the start of the outdoor season. Lexi, what competitions do you think you might be competing in for the rest of this year?
The World Cup in Turkey is coming up pretty closely, and I will be on that team as well, competing there. Looking forward to traveling over there again. Antalya is always a beautiful place to go. The next 2 World Cups in Utah and then one in Germany. Those ones we actually still have trials kind of going. It's a rolling trial process, so other teammates could kind of step in if they're shooting better that year, and then also the World Championships later this year are in the sights as well. So
okay. Yeah, obviously this year is a World Championship year. That's every second year. This year the World Championships in Mexico City. It's going to be exciting. You know, I think World Archery always picks a very nice venue for us to compete in, and World Championships probably the pinnacle of the year coming up. So many teams still have trials and selection processes to go through before those teams are selected for the World Championships.
Absolutely. And we may see a lot of these same archers competing in that competition as well. Obviously, they are the top archers in the world and travel to a lot of the same competitions.
So if you look at a World Cup, teams are allowed to bring 4 archers per category to the World Cup. So you could have 4 compound women, 4 compound men. But when you go to the World Championships, it's only a team of 3
Only the
people.
top 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, the World Championships also for many countries is the pinnacle of the year. They don't have the funding or to go to every competition, but they do go to World Championships, which usually gives you, you know, last time in Denmark, I believe there were more than 600 archers and 96 countries competing there. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting World Cup year, with World Cups being used as preparation for World
Yes,
Championships coming up.
Absolutely. And some of the teams may use placements in the World Cups to determine a team as well. Every team selection is a little bit different, a little bit unique in their own way. So if they're performing well on the world stage, may as well keep them up there.
There's definitely a tick right box that Denmark and Korea and Russia ticked here, at least getting onto the podium. High probability of the same archers even going to the World Championship. So, you know, I think that's a real confidence booster for them.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, and to get that exposure shooting on that field and to be under that pressure really does prepare you for the rest of the events coming up for the year.
Yes. Getting that experience definitely helps.
Because it is different once you're up there and all the television cameras and everybody's talking and you can see your face on the big screen, and
Right.
you know, just like when you're on full draw and you're not concentrating, you might see it. So, you know, you have to learn to deal with that. So it's always good to get the opportunity to shoot on a stage like this in preparation for future competitions.
Yes.
Korea gold medalists. Very, very strong team from Korea. And, you know, what I like about the Korean archers, you can see that they are really all about form. They've got really good form. They well coached. So, yeah, solid archery nation. Beautiful medals they've been awarded.
Yeah, something to take home and, you know, wear proudly.
Oh, on top of that, and a very nice trophy. Keeping the cupboard. And, you know, I tell you, future generations to come that once you were there and you had the opportunity to compete at the super highest level.
Absolutely. Congratulations again to Korea for strong shooting, and Denmark and Russia as well for making it to the podium. And we have time for a podium selfie.
Yeah.
Everybody get in. Those can turn out to be some cool shots as well.
Really.
You know, from the podium's perspective. You know, not only the spectators seeing them standing up there, but from a little bit closer view as well.
Very true, and it's still an exclusive selfie. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to stand on the podium and take selfies. So yeah, it's an awesome shot. So we'll have a lunch break now. The other archers are arriving. Some of the archers that we saw in the team matches now will be also competing this afternoon. I think of Rio and PJ Deluche and so on, and Erik Sonishan. They will be heading over to the practice field now to
continue the
continue the preparations.
Medals were represented by Shanghai Sports Administration Deputy Director General. 为我们颁发奖杯的是李健，上海市浦东新区陆家嘴街道办事处主任。Trophy were represented by Li Qian, Enthusiastic Community Office Director. 获得铜牌的是来自美国的选手 ，Bronze Medal representing United States of America.
Must be difficult getting on a stage with Steve, because you can just stand on the ground and then even out with the rest of the guys.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, a good week for most of these gentlemen. I think they all shot well.
Silver medal representing Colombia.
I think Colombia also did really well to get a medal in this championships. As I said, the ladies team usually makes it. It's you know, it's good to see that the men's team also on the podium this time. Good shooters in there as well.
Gold medal representing India.
Yeah, they look very happy about that one.
Well, I probably would be as
Yes.
well in their position.
It's always a strong team. India, always a contender. Really, really strong team to shoot against.
We see India in 2 of the bronze medal matches later on this afternoon, so they'll definitely have some more chances at some podium medals.
女士们、先生们，请起立。现在播放印度国歌。Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of India. 女士们、先生们，向我们的运动员献上最热情的掌声。Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
Thanks for watching up to this point, and we'll see you again in just a little bit.
Yeah, from me, Patrick Grew, and from Lexikela. We'd like to see you a little bit later this afternoon. We take a break. We'll be back for the individual matches and the mixed team matches slightly later. Thank you for watching.
室外赛事迎来非常完美的开局，祝贺所有的奖拿获得者。也希望您喜欢上午。
Wow.